Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Bobby, thank you for joining me.
Still got the coat on. We just went out for Thai food. Sorry.
What did you bring me? That was my question. All right. Bobby, I want to, we'll take a few questions from the audience, but before that I want to talk to you about this movie, which has been a project amongst the many things that have been going on over the last 2-3 years. I've been collaborating with the director of this movie, the guys who wrote him, Rachel Lichtman, in putting together, who just happens to be in the audience, and putting together the visuals that you see behind the Monkees on their tours, on the last 3 tours. And in that process, we talked about some other projects, and one of them was, we're both big Boyce and Hart fans, and I said, you know, Bobby has all this incredible film footage. He shot a lot of stuff himself, and whenever they were on television, they would order their own films of them on television before there were VCRs. They could go to what was called a Kinney service and order these films. They have TV shows that don't exist in any archive anymore. They've got all this incredible stuff, and we didn't even know the half of it. And we went over and met with Bobby. That began a 3-year odyssey to where we're at today, where we're screening a cut of the movie. That's pretty cool.
Andrew and Rachel have done a tremendous job of putting this together. You'll get a chance to see it in one of the 3 screenings tomorrow if you haven't already, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's not the final cut, but it's very close. So they consented to come down and do a sneak preview. It's not that sneaky, but...
We thought if anybody should see it, it should be you guys. And like most things these days, we've been just doing this ourselves because Bobby's been extremely generous with giving us access to his archives. And then I had a big archive of stuff too that I threw in there. And we managed to get far enough to make a really beautiful looking film. But we need your help in supporting this movie and getting the word out to other people, because it's a story not just about the Monkees, but about these songwriters, Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart, who have an amazing arc to their career. And there's fascinating stuff about the Monkees project and about Boyce and Hart that you've never heard before that are these things in the movie. And it's all vintage footage and vintage photography. A lot of it shot by Bobby himself.
We were talking earlier about, we're talking earlier about the fact that there's no talking heads like every other documentary you've ever seen. There are comments throughout by Peter and Michael and Mickey and Keith Allison and Kim Fowley, but you don't see them, and which their idea, but I really think it worked out great because you stay in the period, you stay in the 60s for the whole 90 minutes, and you don't see a bunch of old guys, you know.
You see them on the screen, but they're vintage photographs of them at the time, and a lot of photographs you've never seen of them before. So if Michael's on the screen talking, you see a series of photos of him from the period he's talking about then on the screen and flashing, so it's a really amazing thing.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have more of a comment. I just want to say that even the biggest Monkees fan hasn't seen 95% of what is in this film, right?
Yeah, it's new footage.
Yeah.
It's unseen.
A lot of new footage.
I was approached, Caroline Boyce, Tommy's widow, and I had been approached over the years several times to do a documentary. One in particular that I remember was for a company that was very successful. Turned out that these kinds of documentaries that you see on Discovery or PBS or something, and I just never felt like it was the right mix, and I never offered this kind of, you know, my home movies. And these 2 people, when they came to me, Andrew Sandoval and Rachel Lichtman, I knew were doing it for the right reasons and from their heart, and it wasn't just another assembly line piece. And so I said, here's what I got, and what they've done with it, it's very nice. It's Rachel's vision, really. She's the director. And so she took hundreds of hours of interviews with me and broke it down into basically telling the story her way. And then I narrated it, and it's like you say, it's covering a 10-year period, so it's a lot of stuff squashed in.
And Tommy's in there too with the vintage interviews, so he's represented, and it's been an interesting process, the 3 of us writing it together and trying to get it into this form that is digestible, which is about 90 minutes. In the meantime, Bobby's also been working on a book, so he's got a whole other, more expansive version of his life history that you'll probably see in coming years.
If you want to see the details, nothing racy, but it's, how the stories of how we wrote the songs and things like that, where I have more time to spell it out.
Right.
So they'll be good companions to each other, hopefully both coming out around the same time.
But if you can't stop by our table in the, Bobby's going to be signing tomorrow. We have a beautiful poster with a really vintage, nice feel that he's signing. It's all in little Boys and Hart buttons, all to raise money. So if you donate, you get something cool and come and see the movie. You can come to the door. We're screening it 3 times tomorrow.
I just want to jump in.
Oh, Rachel, this is a surprise.
Hey, Rachel. Rachel.
Jump in for a minute.
Donnie,
If I could just jump in for a minute. I am Donnie. I'm going to go into the crowd and take some questions in a minute. If you can come to the 7:30 screening, that's the preferable one. There's still going to be a Q&A with Bobby Hart present. Then there's a late night screening at 10:30. Bring a flask of whiskey, whatever you want to do. 10:30 late night screening tomorrow night. And Bobby will not be there, but it's still going to be a late night fun screening, pajama party. So please come if you're staying at the hotel. And then if you can't come to any of those screenings tomorrow, come to the Bell House in Brooklyn on Sunday. And that's at 2 o'clock.
or 3. 3 o'clock.
Doors at 2.
You'll be there at 2, we'll be there at 3.
I'll be there at 6 a.m. But anyway, we really would love to see you tomorrow or Sunday at any time. Right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Dave, do we have time to take a question or two for Bobby?
Maybe just 1 or 2.
Okay, we'll keep it short.
Question.
Yes?
I saw the screening today and it was wonderful. So if you get a chance to see it, please go see it.
Thank you very much.
Bobby, you said that Tommy had to write, he had to have the title before he could write a song.
Uh-huh.
Are you like that?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Were you like that? Did you have to have a title first?
No, I wasn't as rigid as he, and he wasn't totally rigid. There were times when we wrote without titles, but it was a good rule of thumb to follow. It gives you a focus. Okay, we know the title, so now what's it kind of back into it? What's the story about? And so we often use that little trick. Thank you.
We have a question here.
Hi, it's
Hi.
good to see you.
Thank
I
you.
was just wondering, what were your top 3 Monkee songs that you wrote?
Top 3. Well, probably Clarksville.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Stepping Stone is a song that's just been cut by so many people. It only got into the 20-something or 30-something.
Yeah, but it was the flip side of I'm a Believer, so it sold a lot of records to be charting that way. So.
There are other songs that went bigger, like Valerie and so on, but I would say maybe I Want to Be Free would be the other choice, just because of how many times it was covered over the years.
There's a beautiful segment in the movie where they talk about writing. You talk about writing I Want to Be Free. I know you said you don't really get into the mechanics of how you wrote songs, but in that particular
That one we do.
And we play an original demo of Boyce and Hart writing their writing demo of it that's never been heard anywhere else, so it's pretty cool.
1 more question for anybody who hasn't asked? Here we go.
Hi.
Hi.
If you don't talk about the mechanics of writing this song, in a song like Mr. Webster, when it has an ending like it does, that we hear as a recording, did you, in your mind's eye, think of that as a whole thing as a song, like a beginning, middle, and end, or did it just end that way?
Interesting. How long ago was it? 50 years? I don't remember exactly the course of it, but I know that we pretty quickly came up. We loved, humorous endings like we did in Come a Little Bit Closer, where the protagonist runs and the girl in the cafe says the same thing she's been saying in the chorus to the protagonist, to her old boyfriend. So it's, funny endings. So I know that was a part of it right away as we started to develop the story of a bank. What is this, the Academy Awards?
I'm going to play you off with Mr. Webster.
They're playing me off, they're giving me fun. this story of a bank dick. Tommy always loved W.C. Fields movies, and that was the name of one of his movies. So we kind of patterned it after that. A bank detective or security guard who had saved them millions of dollars, the bank, by protecting potential robberies. And when he retired, he only got a gold watch. So his revenge was he went to South America and sent him a telegram saying, "I've taken all your money with me."
Tommy told me that the character in the song, he made up the story for me, that he said it was a guy who spent the entire day making sure nobody stole the pens at the bank.
Tommy was liable to say anything.
Well, I want to
God
thank
bless you.
everybody for supporting the Monkees over all these years and supporting Boys and Hart film, and I want to thank Bobby Hart for joining me.
Thank you.
And we'll be answering questions about Boys and Hart and Bobby's book and everything. We'll be in the dealer room tomorrow, and we'll be after all the screenings. Not Bobby on the last one, but Rachel and I will be there. If you have any other questions, love to talk to you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks,
And thanks to Dave Alexander.
Thank you, Andrew.